good evening to you all, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's lovely to meet you. My name is Matt, and I want to welcome you to our show here at 8 o'clock on SPTV, and it's 8 p.m. in the UK. And for this show, the way that it works is that basically we ask for you to put a question to myself or to Kirsty, but unfortunately Kirsty's not here tonight. And then from there, if you're chosen, we'll answer that to the best of our abilities, and then from there that person gets a reading. That's the only way that you can get a reading. So if you're looking for, can you see this person behind me, can you see anything in the picture, anything like that, will not be answered. So please don't post anything like that. It's on about a learning community, but a supportive community also. So we're here to support each other and to give each other strength and to allow each other to grow in whichever way that may be. So that's how this show works. To protect yourself, please don't post anything really personal onto the site, because obviously it's on a public platform, so it'll be seen by everybody. The other thing is there'll be nobody asking you for readings other than myself. So if anyone approaches you and asking you for private readings, then please report those, because they're not part of SPTV. And finally, Miss Producer is a busy man. He's always sort of rushing around, sort of going through all the posts. So he does look at all your posts. So don't assume that he isn't looking at your posts. You just have to give him time, because there are many hundreds or thousands of comments he's reading at any moment in time. So just please be patient with him. With that in mind, any hellos, please, Miss Producer? And the first one is June. Nice to meet you, June. June the Duck. I like that one. Hello, Jeanette Hurd from the Midwest in the US. Hello, Maddie Sales. Hello, Janelle Delamini from South Africa. Hello, Heather Green. We'll see you. Hello, Stephen Law. Moving to you. Hello, Cole Ross from New Zealand. Hello, Wendy Watson. Good day to you from Australia. Hi, Terry Louise. Nice to see you. Hello, Karen Humphries. Hello, Danielle Haslam. Hi to you. Hello, Paula Sinide. Hello, Deborah Richards. Hello, Mary Butcher from Portsmouth. Hello, Arceus in time. Hello, Jennifer Lee from Oklahoma. Hello, Callie Rodericks. Hello, Orvan Swatman from Canada. And hello, Lisa Gordon. So for those just joining you, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Just a reminder for those just joining us now that if you only way to get a reading on tonight's show is to post a spiritual question. So that might be to do with mediumship, that might be to do with where you're going on your spiritual journey. It might be to do with Reiki, it might be to spiritual healing, it might be to do with some other form of spiritual development. It's not to do with, can you see this behind me? Do you know this person is there or not? But, by posting that, if your question is there, that evidence might come through for you. So, hello, Becky Johnson. Okay, so Becky Johnson, for you, I've got, when you get a gut feeling, can that come from your guide? To me, your gut feeling generally comes from your higher self, your intuition. and it basically comes from you as opposed to your guide. It'll be that sort of radar within you that's sort of guiding you to what you need to be aware of, things that you need to be either on your guard or things that are just making you need to go forward, that sort of intuitive. So to me, that claircognizance is that sort of like gut feeling. It's just that sense of knowing that what you're going to do is right. So that's on there. So for yourself, Becky, I want to go to the cards first. And the cards pack I'm going to use for you tonight is the Animal Tarot pack by Radley Valentine. So I'll just shut these up. The card is this one. And it says that the reindeer expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress. Now, I need to say to you that there has been a lot of change already, and 2022 was a year of change. It's sort of like, you know, change, settle, and it was very much up and down, and there was no sort of pattern to it. It just seemed one thing after another. It was constant change. But what I want to say to you, that there is that period now of just sort of being calm and being able to breathe a little bit. And I certainly feel by the end of January, beginning of February, that there'll be that sort of calmness that's already starting to be felt. On the card is very much a wheel, and that to me denotes sort of like constant turning. But to me, turning also denotes change. And I want to be, although I've said that there was lots of change in 2022, I almost want to say to be open to change on a positive level, and sort of like stepping out of my comfort zone and thinking, you know what, I'm not sure about this, but I'm going to go for it, as opposed to the change in 2022, where just things were just being thrown at you. Not always in a positive way. The final thing is allow things to come to fruition within this card. And I just want to say to you, be true to you. And as I say that, I have a grandmother figure who steps in with you. And I want similarities around the facial features with yourself. And I just want to say that not very tall lady. I probably want to say probably 5'1" at a push, but I would say sort of 5 foot. But I want to say a lovely lady, a very sort of endearing lady, a very strong lady. But she had two sides to her. Very, very loving. But if you'd stepped out of your comfort zone, if you'd tried to overstep the mark a bit, she'll pull you straight back in and make sure that you did what needs to be done. But she's a loving soul, and she's coming around, and she's just holding your hand, and as those changes are coming in, just reassuring that everything's okay and will be okay. As she draws closer to myself, I feel sort of pains within my breathing, and I feel that with her, I would have been about 85, 84, 85 for sort of my passing. She also presses upon me sort of stomach problems, which is a stomach condition or cancer, but it's affecting my breathing, whichever of those that is. And the final thing I just need to say to you is, you know, go with that gut feeling, but also be aware that sometimes your gut feeling can also tell you what's right as well as not right. So trust that when things are right to go with it. And hopefully that makes sense to yourself, Becky, and thank you for allowing me to read for yourself. All right. Okay. Okay, any more hellos, please, Miss Producer? Hello, Nicola Reed. Hello, Kirsty Cook. Thank you for sharing as well. Hello, Paige Nicole. Hello, Margaret Thompson from Glasgow. So guys, just as Kirsty's just done there, if you can like, share, follow, if you're on Facebook platform, equally if you're on YouTube, please join so you can make comments and keep this free channel going and supporting. For those new to the channel, check out the different shows that happen every night at 8 p.m. UK time. Hello, Laura Grant from Canada. Hello, Ali J. Okay, how would you describe a spirit? Well, to me, a spirit is an individual who is no longer in human form, has that essence of soul, that pure energy is how I would describe a spirit. And, you know, I use that collective word spirit as we all do, but to all of us, it's that special person, that sort of our grandmother, a mum, a dad, anyone who's passed over. So although we might use the word spirit when we're describing them, we're actually describing an actual individual who's actually lived. Because unlike the angelic realm, a person in spirit has lived a life before. Okay, so that's how we would go with that. With you, I want to go to this pack with yourself, Ali, and I want to use the Sword of Light as we're doing, I just mentioned about angels then. And the card I want to use is this one with you. And it says, put your creative energy into action. Archangel Gabriel joins me to spark your creativity, help you communicate your vision and motivate you to create something beautiful. Now, what I feel with this, there's lots of inspiration that's happening and lots of ideas that are flowing. It's almost like I've got a teaching with yourself, and this is spiritual teaching. It's almost like I'm getting workshops, I'm getting all positive ideas that are coming in of like, I want to do that. And it's not just about spirits, it's sort of like laws of attraction and all of that type of thing. And there's just so much energy coming from this card that you would have felt like, come on, let's do this, we can do this. And there would be that sense of just like a drive with you. And that drive's been there since sort of like the beginning of December, end of November, beginning of December. It's not been sort of like the new year. It's been there for the last month or so. And it's just like your mind has been sparked all over the place. I'm also aware of a gentleman who draws in, and I want to go on father's side of family, and I feel this is a grandfather. And I want to say with him, sort of thin to the frame, probably 5'8", 5'9" in height, and I want to say with him that he would be a person who would stand back a little bit. I don't mean antisocial, be a person who almost like weighed the situation up. He didn't like to be in the limelight, but he was a good judge of character. And he's making me aware with you that you're equally a good judge of character, that you can sort of sum people up like that. But the problem is, and this is me now, is when we're very quick to judge or to make judgments, we can sometimes miscalculate. I'm not saying that's always the case, but sometimes we do. And there's a situation that's been around you where there has been that miscalculation of judgment. And, you know, it's sometimes we have to eat humble pie to sort of say, right, I need to correct that situation. He's also taken me to the trumpet here, and this is blowing your own trumpet and sort of showing your magnificence and who you are. And it's almost, I need to say, going back to the real you and who you are. So I want Ali sort of coming back to where she was 3 years ago. And it's almost like things have been on standstill, but all of a sudden, like I said, all of this energy is sort of going all over the place, and it's sparked. It's like, right, I want to do this. It's very much a can-do mentality, similar to grandmother. And the final thing is, with this gentleman, when it came to sort of thinking things through, like I said, he would take a step back, he would weigh the situation up. So the best way to describe this, if you imagine sort of a chess piece, when you're playing chess, you move the piece, you hold it, and you look around the board to see how that piece could possibly be taken. But but also your next strategic move. And he's bringing that chess piece in for you to sort of like think, what is going to be your next strategic move? Because it's moving towards the other side. It's moving positively in that direction, not going backwards to go forwards. And he's giving me the knight as sort of like 1 across 3 there. So even though at times it might not seem that you're always moving forward, you then take a side step and then you move even further than what you would before. I can leave that with you, Ali. Hope that makes sense to yourself. Thank you. So can we ask, guys, that when you're receiving a reading, if you can put some feedback, if you can sort of converse like yes, no's and different things, it just helps with the reading to sort of with that. It would be appreciated. So hello to Tricia McIntyre from the Port of Glasgow. Hello, Benny Ty. Hello, Sarah Quest. Hello, Sandra Leigh McDonald Hunt, a big name. Hello from Canada. Hello, Taylor Rose Dillon. Hello, Paige Nicole. I've been having incidents where I feel like something will happen and then it does. Why is this? Okay, so this is my perception of it. I'm not saying this is what it is, but I always believe in the natural law of the law of attraction. What we put out there comes back. So if we think that basically something negative, then negative is going to be attracted to us. So it's not just about attracting love with that law of attraction, it's basically attracting anything. So when it says I've been having incidents, there are various things. So if I'm thinking that something's going to happen, then I will have that. I also want to say with incidents, I would want to investigate whether there are other medical things that are there. Perhaps, there's some dizziness, or whether there needs to be something investigated by a medical professional. I don't know where you are, Paige, but I wouldn't want to advise without advising that medical advice needs to be sought if you're continuing to have where you're falling over or that type of incident. If it's incidents in other ways, then I need to then obviously know what those incidents are. But basically, I want to say, keep your thoughts positive is what I want to say to you in the first instance. I want to say to you that like attracts like. So to be aware of that. And I feel an instance where I feel like something will happen. And I just want to say, if it's to do with a spiritual nature, then call in your guides and put the protection around you. And if you feel like you go somewhere, you're hesitant, you don't feel like you want to go in somewhere, then don't go in there. So I think I've answered everything there. If not, please come back to us, Paige. Right, so with you, I want to go to, with yourself, Paige, I want to go to the Enchanted Map cards. And it's this card is the Magic Stream card, and this to me is that emotions run deep. And I want to say to you that basically when you're feeling inside upset or anxious or angry, those emotions need to be felt, and it's almost like I'm trying to suppress those, to cut those emotions off. So what happens then if we cut off our emotions? They will come out in other ways. They will come across in anger, they will come out in tears, they will make us act irrationally in ways that isn't normally us. So I want to say, feel those emotions, but express them. Seek support if it's quite serious. if it can be something that's discussed with a friend or the person that's hurting you, then discuss it in a amicable way. But don't suppress or hold back what you're feeling, is what I need to say. I also want to say is that the grass is greener on the other side, and it always feels like, you know, sometimes we would like things to be better and to be different. And, you know, why is it that, you know, that person's got that, or I wish I was there because I know things would be better. But I want to say to you, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Things sometimes it's just a perspective. It's based on how we feel and what's going on in our life at that moment in time. So what I want to say to you is just take a breath, take a step back for a short while, maybe give yourself a few days, and then revisit that situation again. And I feel that you will see the situation differently. So going back to your question, I need to say to you not to think about incidents, that there's going to be incidents happening. Think of that basically situations are going to be resolved. There is a way out, a change of perspective. And in this card, there is lots of sort of clear skies, and I feel whatever's happened over the last 18 months, I just need to say it's clearing now, and that period is gone. And I just want to keep positive and have that special magic that's within you. Hopefully that makes sense to yourself, and I can leave that with yourself, Paige, please. Mm-hmm. Hello, Sylvia Bentley McLeod. Hello, Caroline May Sambrooks from Dagenham in Essex. Thank you for sharing. Hello, Sue Linford from East Sussex. It's down the road. Hello, Jan Prue. Hello, Viananello Tracy from Cape Town in South Africa. Hello, Geraldine Owens. So our next question is it my mum? Is that the one? Yeah. So, yeah. Is it my mum who keeps coming to me in my dreams? Feels like she's trying to tell me something, but I'm not getting what she's saying. Thank you for your time and energy. Many blessings. Right, you would understand, Geraldine, is that you keep waking up at sort of 2:45 on a regular basis. You would also understand that with your mum, that basically you keep feeling, I'm not saying this is at night time, but you keep feeling your feet being tickled at the end of your toes, almost like, and gets very cold, but it's your toes that I want to go towards. And I feel with that sort of feeling, all right, is that because the lady I've got is a motherly sort of vibration, and she's making me aware of this sort of coldness around the feet, or the tickling of the feet, and the waking up at 2:45. I also feel with this lady, I'm not saying this is mum, but let's go with the evidence first. I also feel with this lady that her passing was relatively quick. I want to also go within the stomach. To me, is either a stomach condition or I feel cancer. And I also feel with her that she was ready to go. The fight had gone out of her. But she was a lady who always worked with her heart. The best way to describe her is sort of like an individual who gives to everybody and doesn't give back to themselves. They're a caregiver. They're very sort of if I was to think of someone well known who your people originally thought and would aspire to, like the Mother Teresa sort of characteristics of sort of like giving to the poor and all of that. I filmed very much with her, sort of like I wanted people to um, to feel appreciated, and I wanted to make them feel loved. But there was a sense of me that basically had no expectation of anything myself. If you know, on the queue, I was right at the bottom of the queue, while everyone else never felt like that. That was just their view. Everyone needs more than what I do, is what I would say. I would also say with her that I've got a cheeky smile. I would also sort of say, you know, I would always have a smile. I have that little glint in my eye. And I would also say with her, there were in life, nothing was too much for her. She always found that little bit of energy to do things, even when she didn't think she had it. And I feel such a loving individual with this lady. And she's telling me about 4. So I don't know if you're one of 4 or if she would have been one of 4, but she's given me 4. And with that, I've got 1, there's a gap in age, and then 3 quite close together. So that's what she's given me. And I just want the sun for yourself. And the reason I want sun is just to lift my energy, because when I'm around the sun, as in the sun in the sky, I just feel better in myself. And I just need, like, there's a burst of sunlight that's needed just to lift my energies up, because this time of year I find particularly difficult. And I just want to sort of bring that warmth, but also bring that warmth of love that she brings herself. And the message for you is, she gives me the song, which is well known to Liverpool fans, which is You'll Never Walk Alone. So what I want you to do is, on the computer, if you can find the lyrics or to listen to that song, you'll probably find it on one of the channels later on. That's the words and the song that she wants you to hear. And if I can leave that with you, thank you for working with me. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do is we're going to, as we go on now, is I'm going to ask if you're there. If you're not there, because it's people who are waiting for readings, then we're basically going to give a allotted time. If you can just reply yes. If after that yes, that allotted time you've not replied, then we're going to move on to the next person. So that's how we're going to work tonight, so that we can try and get through as many people as we can. So, good evening to Claire Pasterfield, one of our presenters on a Thursday night. So if you get a chance to tune in to Claire's show, it's a wonderful show. She's just standing in at the moment, but she's been on the channel many, many times in her own right. And she has a beautiful show on a Thursday night. So please check out Claire's channel. Hello, Kerry Thorley. Hello, DCJ. Hello, Lisa Holland Bowles from San Francisco. Hello, Tony Wright. Hello, Aries. Hello, Esley. Hello, Shania George. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Adam Ashley from Lincolnshire. Hello, Slater Paul and Liz Slater from Dagenham. Hello, Madison Sales. Why do I keep waking up at certain times each night, every night? Is this spiritual awakening? So there is various reasons that might be, Madison. It might be that basically you are being woken up at that moment in time. It may have a significance to you. So, for example, it might be 3:33 in the morning. So those 3s are numbers that you need to be aware of. It may be that there's somebody in spirit of your loved ones who are trying to reassure you that you're safe. And also, you know, I want to go around about the witching hour, sort of like 3 o'clock is when on there. So with the sort of the closeness with the spirit realm. So there's different things. Also, if you keep being woken up at that certain time, make a note of that time in the morning that you're being woken up and record it, because there will be patterns and there will be a significance. It's almost someone's trying to communicate with you. So what I do is if there's someone trying to communicate with me, I set the intention before I go to sleep. You know, if there's someone who wants to communicate, either in the family or of a spiritual nature, then to basically come through at a time that is right for both of us to do that. Now, when we get to around about that sort of witching out at 3 o'clock, we're in a very sort of, okay, it is around about 3 o'clock, just what I was giving it. We're in a very deep sleep, that like the REM sort of state, that really deep sleep. So when we're in that deep sleep, we'll have that the experience of where our spiritual self leaves the physical body and meets with the spirit world, and where we'll feel that closeness. Now, to me, the number 3 is symbolic of like the 333, as I gave you before, 333, of the Ascended Masters. So I feel that there's teachings here. And although you said 3 o'clock, I do feel that there's teachings with yourself that need to be listened to. And with those teachings, it's almost, I need to say to you, 1 is on a spiritual, but also 2 is on the life one. It's almost like I need to listen to myself a little bit more, and I need to listen to what I need. It's almost like I'm trying to be Madison to everybody, but it's almost like there's not a lot of time for Madison. So I need to give that time for Madison. I also need to say to you, on a spiritual point, it's not awakening as such, because you've already awoken. I almost want to say the way that you're receiving the information is changing. So it's going more from sort of that feeling sense to more seeing. So this is what I'm getting for yourself. I'm also feeling with yourself that I need to say to you, you know, as an individual, I don't mean in particular, but in general, is that we tend to show what we want people to see and keep that vulnerable side behind a little bit, because we don't want to show that. But I want to say to you, I want to embrace that vulnerable side and to show that a little bit more, and not show that vulnerability, because that makes up who Madison is. And I want to say that there's almost like a change in you that's come about. It's more of an acceptance that I want. Now, what I want you to do is to look up what the number 3 means. And I want you to look it up in numerology, and then I want you to look it up as an angel number. So that's why I want the number 3, if you haven't already done that. But okay, sorry, the producer just tell me something. Sorry, say again. Okay, so the producer's saying it's enthusiasm, great spirit, and what was the last one? Sorry, and energy in numerology, the number 3. So there you go. So like I said, there's that new, but it's about embracing you, and it's I want to say it's being the true Madison. And it's almost been like the sort of the last 2.5 to 3 years. It's almost like I've lost me, and this is going back to being me again, and to be Madison. So if I can leave that with you, thank you for working with me. Hello there, Shine. Greetings to you. Hello, Louise Maru. Oh, dropped out a bit there, Mr. Producer, apparently. Hello, Jennifer Clark. Hello, Kelly McKeaton. Okay, so Kerry Folliers, I've been informed by other spiritualists that I have a gift. However, I don't seem to be able to use it. I am a strong believer, but I'm not religious in any way. Is this a problem? Okay, I've got friends who are religious. I've got friends who are not religious, all mediums. I've got people who are Buddhists. I've got friends who are Hindu, like Sikh. Uh, it doesn't matter. Spiritualism doesn't hold any boundaries, any creed, any sort of precedent and sort of bias towards gender, anything like that, in my belief. Now, I am a spiritualist and I am religious in that respect, but I'm proud to be a spiritualist and what feels right for me, but it's not right for everyone. So to the last bit before I answer the first bit, Kerry, I need to say to you, you get a number of people who class themselves as spiritual. And to me, spiritual is about what you do in everyday life, living life. It's a way of life. So, kind to people, and they're kind to you, being surrounded by the right type of people, loving and all of that, and respecting the world that you live in, and that having a mutual respect. That's, to me, is spiritualism to me. We have principles that we live by, but that hasn't got to be. It's how we live our life, to me, which is really important. And I feel that connects with you. It's not the religious aspect, it's the way of life, of doing things. Now, so in regards to religious, you don't have to be religious and you don't have to believe in spiritualism in order to have your gifts. You can develop them. Now, when we use our gifts, we can use them in a number of ways. We can, for some people, they have family members, perhaps the mediums or the more accepting, in which case you grow up without being challenged that there is no people in the spirit world, in case, so those gifts grow very strong from an early age. There are some of us who may come into it sort of because of trauma, because of life events that have happened, that do that spiritual awakening. And there are other times where basically there may be a loss and we want to connect. So whatever the reason is, that can also be a reason for belief. I do feel that there are spiritual gifts with you, and if other spiritualists are saying this also, I need to echo what they're saying. So what I need to do is to give you a number of options. I need to say, number one is that you go to your local spiritualist church. You find out, number two is you find out a good medium in the local area who runs a development circle, and a person who knows what they're talking about, perhaps has been recommended to you. There are various websites you can go on, like the SNU, the SAGB. There's all different groups where you can find out where your local spiritualist church, or just Google it or another search engine. Okay, so you can just confirm if you're still there, Kerry, please. Okay, so we've got all of that. So please check out, if you can just let me know afterwards, after we've done this bit of the reading, what part of the world you're from, and then perhaps I can put you in the right direction of where to find out further information of where to go to next. Right, move on to. Okay, so a bit like the Frozen film, Let It Go is this card. This situation no longer serves you. Allow to sever your energetic connections to the past as you can embrace the future. So I want to say to you, there is a habit of holding on to things and not wanting to let them go. It's sort of like, oh, I've had enough of this, I'm letting it go, but then it's almost to do the right thing, in which case I'm taking it back. So I need to say to you, with your life, I want to let things go and to fully let them go. Now, sometimes what we do, we carry all rocks on in life and think, there's rocks to bear, these things I've got. We let go of them, and the way that they're making me feel is almost like, oh, it doesn't feel comfortable. Basically, I'm going to put those back on, that's better. So I need to let go. I need to also shut the door on the past and to let go of that past. Now, I want to go on mum's side of the family, and I feel like I've got a grandma and a grandfather here that come in on mum's side of the family, and I feel like they would have banter between them. He would sort of like, he would mutter something. She would basically sort of, oh, what you like, silly sausage or whatever. And then basically, but they knew they loved each other. And there was just that sort of constant forwards and backwards between them at different points. But you knew that basically they were a couple that were together for life. There was a sense of understanding. Without each other, they couldn't have survived. So I do feel that although the gentleman could mutter in his breath, it was the lady that wore the trousers in that family. And if she basically didn't feel what he was said was right, it wouldn't happen. And it's almost like she'd go, you can make your own tea then, type of thing when it came to sort of making the evening meal or whatever. And he would grumble under his breath, but then he'd have a smile on his face as he was saying it, because it wasn't any malicious in that. I also feel when you went into the house, it was a very cozy house. It just has that sort of sense of, I feel that I can just relax in this house. It's nice and warm, the fire's on, and it's just, we've each got our own indoor things. Sort of like the grandma's at the end of the sofa and like the grandfather's in his chair, and it's just, we're just watching the telly, just staring at the telly, and we're just, I'm knitting away there as the grandmother, and we're just talking and conversing, doing our own thing. But we knew at the end of each day, we'd always come together, and we would always say, I love you. And the coming through with you is to tell you that that you're loved, and wanting to tell you that you're special. And is that feeling at the moment, that is that feeling of not being sort of loved, not being, needing that reassurance and comfort, that you've got people around you who care for you. And I just need to reaffirm that to yourself. I also need to, she's holding a locket here, and it's a very, very small locket, but I also want like a drop necklace as well, sort of. I don't know, it's got like a little stone inside it, like a Cunix gold, but it's silver. Oh, excuse me, it's silver also, and she brings those in. And when I get those, as well as the evidence, it's because the land close to the heart, and they just want to remind you that you're always in the heart, but you just need to ask, and you'll be pointed in the direction. With the two of them, they both want to help you, but it's the grandmother that I particularly want to connect with yourself, Kerry. So I want you to say, put those thoughts out to your grandmother to help you to find the right people for finding this group that's going to help you develop. Like I said, after this, if you just put in the group whereabouts you are in the country or part of the world, as in Shrewsbury or sort of Birmingham or wherever, and then basically from there, I can point in the right directions. Thank you for allowing me to read you, and thank you, loved ones. And thank you for your feedback as well. Okay, so again, we're going to move on, but a reminder that just as Kerry kind of did there, you can give feedback as we go along and so on there, be appreciated. Thank you. So, hello, Lena Kim Parker. Hello, Nikki Kenton. Hello, Kimby Dolby from Portsmouth. So for those just joining us, good evening. My name is Matt, and we're here at 8 o'clock in the UK. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. The way that the show works is that basically we ask you to post a question of a spiritual nature, maybe around mediumship, your own development, of that, as opposed to, can you see this person? Is this person there? Can you see colours in the picture? Anything like that. More of a mediumship, so healing, Reiki, spiritual direction, that type of thing. And then from there, that person, I will answer that to the best of my ability, and that person then gets a reading. That's the only way we can get readings tonight. So, and the final thing to mention is we're going to give you a little bit of time. If there's no response, then basically we're going to move on to try and get through as many as we can tonight. Hello, Wendy Knowles. Good evening to you. Hello, Jan Densmore from Nova Scotia in Canada. Hello, Gladys Matchka. Martine Neve. Curious how beautiful white feathers and nature signs. Is that my young heart pet in heaven? Thank you for the answer. Okay, so there is debate with different things, and it depends what sits well with you. So in answer to this, in the sense that the white feathers, are they from the angelic realms, or are they from the spirit realm? And depending on what book, what literature you read, what your teachings have been and everything, are the different signs what you place. So I just need to say to you, trust what you actually believe to be right. And if it fits right with it, stick with it. If it doesn't resonate with you, chuck it out. And I say that to all of my students and the people that I meet, because if you don't know your own truth, if you don't know what fits right with you, then you can't then go on and believe it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if I see, say, let's use a robin as a common sort of thing. So a robin appears in the garden, and I think, oh, that's my Uncle Ted. And if Uncle Ted is who I believe that to be, that's Uncle Ted sort of telling me that that is a messenger for Uncle Ted. And if that's what the first person who came to my head is, then that's who I associate. Now, Uncle Ted doesn't turn into a robin, okay, because as we go through our progression in life, obviously we'd be going backwards and we want to ascend, so we wouldn't go back to being a bird after being a human being and developing things. So in answer to your question that you put down, is it, well, I've read it as your guide now, I read it as an animal before. Was it to do with the animal is what I need to say, but you've got there from our main guide. I want to say it's more to do with your loved ones, I would say, more than your main guide. Because to me, when we're connected with our guides, we would do that through sort of a meditation and through other ways rather than from actual signs. What it would be is sort of saying from spirit that we're around, we're looking after you. Or angels, if that's your belief system. But to me, as opposed to your guide, it would be more likely family members who just say, I'm looking out for you. It is what I would say it would be, Martine. Hopefully that makes sense to yourself. I don't know why I saw it as animals you're asking there. Perhaps it's because of the cat that you had in the picture. Okay, right. Okay, now I want to go to the animal tarot, because we've just mentioned about animals there. That's where I want to go to. I want to say to you, Martine, I feel like I've got a father here, like a fatherly energy, and I feel with this gentleman, quite a distinguished gentleman, good-looking gentleman, clean-shaven, quite well built. I don't really muscly, you know, he's well toned is what I mean. He hasn't got a belly or anything like that, and he comes in very much like a fatherly figure. And I want to say he looks a good looking gentleman as he comes in, and I feel that honesty was the best policy with him, and what you see is what you get. And he never tried to impress, he never made out to be something he wasn't. And what he's taken me to is yourself as being, what you put there, thank you, yes, love my ancestral great-grandmother, okay, is that basically that you are the same. You don't try to portray something you're not. What you see is what you get. And he brings in that analogy of Marmite. You either like me or you don't like me, is what he's saying. Now, he takes me to this card, and the card I have in the animal tarot is the elephant. And to me, an elephant never forgets. And what I want to say when I get an elephant, it's about letting go, not holding on to things that don't serve you well. And just understanding that, yes, there will be people in your life that basically hurt you. Oh, right, okay. But there are people equally you come into your life who will make your life better and inspire. So let go, don't hold on to sort of, I won't say bitterness or hurt. Let it go, because the only person who suffers that is you yourself. And with this gentleman, I feel he was very much for justice. And I feel he was very much a person who would have, you know, looked for the best in people, even when the people didn't always look for the best in him. He always looked at, and he's giving me that song, always look on the bright side of life, always look for the positives. And I feel like I want to whistle with him and I want to be positive and everything else. And it just feels like the last month, for whatever reason, it just feels a bit, I'm a bit like this, but I want to say that positivity is coming back up. And from, you know, every cloud is a silver lining, it's almost bringing in. And with that cloud, I'm having lots of rainbows and lots of colours coming in, lots of colours being thrown at you of positivity. So to me, those feathers that you're receiving, if it is the feathers, are from this gentleman, just showing that he's around. You've put there, it could be your grandfather. I also want to say in this card, so you can see that, okay? But there's like a justice, sort of a balance, and it's at times life needs to be a bit of a balance, and so it feels like it's got to be a balancing act. So I need to say to you, trust that the balance is becoming better. You've sort of seen that imbalance in yourself, and it's almost like trying to rectify that. And I just need to say to you, thumbs up, you're starting to move in the right direction to bring that balance back and starting to appreciate who you are. And finally, with the elephant, we've very much got to have thick skin with the elephant, but inside, you know, it looks after the young and everything else. It has a big heart. And with this gentleman, although he wouldn't have liked to cry in front of people, he had a massive heart. He had an appreciation for nature and for the outdoors, but for the people around him who truly, truly mattered. So if I can leave that with you from him and with the card, thank you for working with me. Okay, so any more of those? Hello, Christoph Betts. Hello, Bridget Way. Good evening to you. Hello, Denise Castor. Hello, Sharon Booker Hamilton. Hello, Love. Hello, Limo DePimo. Great name. Hello, Paul Fowler. Thank you. Hello, Jenny Miller. Hello, Debbie Chard. So it's wonderful to see so many people come on. Hello, Kelly McKeaton. So many people coming on. If you're just joining us, hello. My name is Matt. Basically, the way the show works is by posting a question of a spiritual nature. So it's not like, can you see this person with me? You know, can you see this behind? It'll be maybe to do with all different sort of spiritual practices, but particularly around mediumship, healing, and Reiki. I will answer that to the best of my abilities, and then from there, that person gets a reading. So, Vicky Brocklehurst, hello to you. So, is this next question? So, are palm readings good for healing and connecting with spirit? Now, I'm not a palm reader, don't confess. You know, we have a show on, is it a Friday, Miss Producer? There's palm readings. Yeah. Thursday, on a Thursday, where palm readings can be done. To me, I've not heard palm readings with healing. Obviously, you may be able to, from a psychic point of view, be able to say that these can, you know, I'm feeling this condition or whatever. But yes, you would be able to connect with basically any sort of rune stones, sort of cards, anything like that, are all divination. They're just tools, they're just ways of connecting to spirit. So I would use it as a way to link up to spirit, is what I would say. Now, I don't know enough about palm readings, I'll be honest with you, but I would have thought that you would easily, because you were holding the person's hand, there would be that automatic transfer of energy on a psychic level. Once that link of that bond was made, what would then happen is that medium could then hold on to that hand and make that link up. There doesn't have to be a physical contact, but that's how I would envisage that from a palm reading, because obviously you're reading in there, you are feeling the contact, there is energy. So if I give you an example, if you think of a card, as the person picks the card, their energy is held on that card, the card's being transferred to the medium, the psychic, and then basically they're using the energy from that card then to do the reading. And the same principle with the palm. Regarding the healing, I wouldn't have thought so, is my answer, but please tune in and put that question on a Thursday to the palm reader. So thank you very much. So with you, Vicky, okay, I have a lady with myself, and I'm really struggling for my breathing with her, and I don't feel very old. I'm sort of 62, between 62 and 64, and I feel with her that I'm going on mum's side of the family, but I don't feel this is mum. I don't. I'll establish who the communicator is in a second, but I feel with her that basically I'm hardworking. I don't stop. I'm on the go all the time. I almost feel like a nervousness sort of energy. It's almost like, you know, like biting my nails. I get quite agitated. The slightest thing would have got me quite worried. I also feel with her that basically I found communicating with people very, very difficult. It doesn't come naturally to myself. I'm not an antisocial person. I don't like, you know, keep myself hidden away everything. I would converse, but it wouldn't be something that would come natural to myself. It would need work, and sometimes I would come across as a result in the wrong way, and it wasn't what I intended it to come across. I could be quite blunt. Would you understand that around an aunt on mum's side of the family? Because I feel that's where I'm going. I don't feel this is like a mum, but she has the qualities of a mother. She has like protective, sort of looking after everybody and everything like that. I also feel with her, she had a very inquisitive mind. So when it came to sort of like in today's society, sort of technology, she'd be very sort of like, you know, oh, what's that going on? What's that? And she'd have a very inquisitive mind. So certainly when you're using a computer, that when she steps close, there'll be that sort of interference. There'll be almost like the flickering of the screen, that type of thing going on. And I just feel that she's been around you, not for any particular purpose, but just to sort of take an interest in what you're doing. Now, she also makes me aware that you're developing yourself and that you're also starting to learn. And you have been learning now for quite a while, but it's almost like the last 2 or 3 months, the whole way that you have learned or developing has completely changed. So I want to give you that. I also want to give you crystals from her, and I want particularly carnelian for you. So to me, carnelian is to do with mood, but you'll need to look up if there are other reasons for it. And I also want to say with her that I want to go to my chest, like I said, breathing, but it's also my throat. And it's almost like I'm holding my throat because I'm struggling to swallow. Now, if you don't understand the age, then with this lady, I want to go to the significance of that age. So I want to go between 62 and 64. So say, for example, she passed at 72. I then want to go 10 years younger of what was happening. So say she passed in 2022, then what was the significance of 2012? I'm not trying to make it fit, but that is the only other way, because that is where I want to go. All right, but she's got a very, very inquisitive mind. So you put, it sounds like your mum. Now, I want to say the only similarity is in the shape of the eyes. I don't see any other similarity. And the mouth is the other bit on there with this lady. But it's not like a real closeness with her mum, which is why I thought it wasn't mum. Like I said, there was a motherly energy, but it was almost like a little bit of a distance. There wasn't that closeness. So I don't know if that's what the relationship was like, but I don't feel really, really close in that relationship. I also want to say she would have used things like never the twain shall meet, too many cooks spoil the broth, and all of that type of sort of saying. She's also going about that you keep falling asleep and that needing to rest on a continual basis. And I just want to recharge the battery. I know obviously Christmas is a busy time for everyone, but this has been ongoing for quite a few months before Christmas also. It's almost just as I'm getting my energy, then basically I need to get my energy back again. And it's a continual cycle. So I almost want to say, give yourself a few weeks to fully recharge the battery rather than getting it half full and then basically. It's almost like I can say it's like a mobile phone. You know, you think, oh, quick, I've got the signal. Take it out, that'll do. It's on red, but and it'll be gone. And I feel like that's happening with yourself, is how she's making you feel. I want to say with this lady that she very much was a person who was didn't think enough of what she did for people. But equally, she's saying that you don't the same, and she wants you to start thinking more of yourself because you do so much. There must have been an element of care at the end which involved yourself, because I just need to thank you for that. And I also want to say that never the twain shall meet. There wasn't that closeness at the end, which is why I didn't feel motherly at the beginning. I want to say to you that there's that very, very close bond now and around you quite a lot. So there'll be things that suddenly move, there'll be scents within there, and the radio, I want to say, keeps going on and off. So the music, whether this is the telly music or a radio, but music keeps coming on randomly. And I just want to say she's around you all the time. Although you said she wasn't really into technology, she's very much inquisitive now. She's like looking over you, show what you're doing, music, like electrics keep happening. So if I can leave that with you, Vicky, thank you for working with me. Okay, we're going to quickly do some advert, guys, and then basically we will be back.
Spiritual Psychics TV is hosting our annual recognition of achievements, acknowledging those who dedicate their lives through spiritual acts of kindness. Candidates can register and put themselves forward to be acknowledged. Viewers can also nominate who they feel should be recognized for an achievement. Exclusively broadcasted live on SPTV, with 100% of the public votes being announced on Saturday the 27th of May from 7:30 p.m. For more information, please visit awards.spiritualpsychicstv.online. Spiritual Psychics TV, bringing spiritual people together.
MySpiritualDirectory.com is one of the fastest growing online free listing service. Our search directory offers geolocation feature, rating ability, review system, map location, customer comment, YouTube video, gallery, social media sharing, direct contact with the lister, simple online booking and payment system. It's free to register and use. It even creates your own mini web page, which you can update at any time, and yes, it's still free, no monthly or yearly fees. 100% free. Creates your own profile page. Add social media and other links. Add a mini gallery and a YouTube video. Rating, reviews, and comments. Includes online booking and payments. So, if you're looking for a medium, or a reader, even a church, maybe a healer, or any other spiritual service, then visit myspiritualdirectory.com.
On Tuesday afternoon from 1 p.m., Wendy Lindsay offers free spiritual readings and guidance using her crystal ball.
Okay, welcome back. Lots of interesting things there. So our next question is from Wendy Watson. So if you can just tell us, Wendy, if you're still here, please. If you can just put a simple yes in the comments. Who was that, sorry? Hello, Kathy Littlewood. Hello, Ina Barr. And just once more, Wendy. Hello, Mushab Admoudi. Hello to you. Anything? Okay, so Kerry Thorley, you mentioned about Glasgow. So Glasgow Spiritualist Church is an SNU church, so on there. So I would sort of, if you go on the snu.org.uk, and there's, you can go on the Scottish and Irish district, and there's a lot around Glasgow, but the Glasgow Association of Spiritualists for yourself. Okay, so hopefully that sorts that, and thank you for what you said. Okay, so did you say Wendy was there? Okay. Hello, Wendy. Okay, so can our past loved ones become our spirit guides? So to me, our loved ones that have passed over can work to being our spirit guides. So one of the examples that Kirsty uses, her previous partner, her daughter's sort of father who's in spirit, he is now working with Kirsty to develop the gifts to then work with her daughter on a spiritual nature. So very much, I would say, with the spirit guides. Depends how developed they are and where they are in there. Spirit guides, similar to spirit, have also lived a life, and they're learning from us just as much as we're learning from them. So another example I give is one of my friends used to be in the army. So basically, you know, his guide had never seen conflict, so I was learning what it was like to be in war and to see conflict, while he was obviously gaining the spiritual knowledge from his guide. So it's a two-way process, a partnership, as I call it. So with yourself, I want to go to this pack of cards, which is the Sword of Light Oracle for you, Wendy. This is your card. I need to say, all is perfect timing. This is it. It's time to take action now. I will be here to help you every step of the way. What I need to say to you is almost like I'm chomping at the bit to move, but it's on my terms. And it's almost like I'm not going to do it until the time's right for me. So I'm not going on platform, or I'm not going to get that new job because it's not yet March, or it's not yet February, and it's almost like at times I put barriers there myself, when in fact I know within myself that it's the time to take the next step forward. And it's almost like I need to bring this sort of like confidence to yourself, and sort of tell you it's going to be okay. We're holding your hands and everything's going to be all right. I have got a gentleman here, not very, very old. He has got sunglasses on the top of his head. I feel really sort of slim to the body. I really Jack the Lad sort of take it. I don't feel very old with him, and very much I feel that I want to say he was a good-looking lad, and basically would have certainly turned heads. I don't know. I'm not very good with ages, but I sort of say sort of like early 30s. Early 30s is what I'm sort of feeling. I also feel with him that basically, you know, I would have had a bit of the banter. I would have charmed the ladies, and I don't mean that I would have been dishonest and gone behind ladies' backs. What I mean by that, you know, you're looking good tonight, love, or you know, I like your outfit. I would have paid attention, would have complimented it, would have made the individual feel special. I also feel with him that he's around quite a lot. I keep smelling cigarette smoke quite often, and I do want to say with yourself, there's that smell of cigarette, of fags, as he puts it, that I'm smelling. I also want to say, I was mentioning earlier about time, but he's on about time stood still. It was almost like, you know, when you see in films where they go into someone's bedroom where the child was and like the room's not changed, it's almost like time stood still within that room. So he's on about that with him, that time stood still. It didn't, it's like nothing's changed. The people are still the same. It's just that he's not here. And that's what he wants to get across, that even though at times there's still that memory, lifting a glass up and all of that, in the grand scheme of things, the heart is still there, the love is still there, and the respect is still there. Now, he wants to put his arm around you, and he's sort of like, you know, when he's making me feel, you know, like when you at the end of the night, when you're sort of like old Lang Syne or whatever, you're swaying between each other, you've had a bit to drink, and sort of your coordination isn't quite there. And I just feel like he was like that anyway. Not that he was drinking. What I mean is, you know, he'd put his arm around you, he'd sway, and he'd just reassure everyone that everything was okay. You would also understand there was unusual circumstancing also for his passing, because it seems like there was uncertainty with his passing. It was almost like it wasn't clean cut on the certificate on there. And I also want to say with him that, you know, he had the life in front of him. There was so much that he could do. You know, he's one of those people, he could just do anything. You know, he's like one of my other friends, you know, he'd get up in the morning and go, I'm going to win a race today. And he'd win a race. He's just naturally good at those type of things. Because I do feel quite athletic, but I just feel he could do himself because he had that can-do attitude. But he's bringing that attitude for you and sort of saying to you, when you set your mind to it, you can do anything. And he's also saying to you that I don't feel this is a dad. I feel this is a young individual. I don't feel this is a father with him, so I don't want to make it fit in that sense. But I do feel with him that his character, again, what you see is what you get, and you know, just love me for who I am, and that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. I wanted acceptance. I also want around in the background mental health also there. So if you're feeling that dad's here, I don't feel this is dad, but then dad is in the background. I want to say, and the final thing I want to go to is being like a polar bear. You look at the polar bear, you think that's really cute. Look at it, it looks good. But if you've got on the wrong side of it, whoa, you get the full pelt of it and the strength of the polar bear. And I feel with him, easy going. But if you went against the family, And I feel this is the father. You went against him, and what he believed to be right, you got the thick end of him. And would you understand with your father, he would have been roughly about the same height as the younger gentleman. That would have been probably about 5'10", 5'11" in height. I feel tall with this. So everything happens for its reason, and thank you for working with Wendy. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of another show. I just heard brother, Wendy. There you go, brother. So I want to say thank you for working with me, allowing me to bring through your loved ones, allowing me to give you guidance on psychic level through the cards. But as we now come to the end, I just want to wish you well for whatever you're doing this week. Keep yourself safe and come and join us again at 8 o'clock next Monday. In the meantime, take care.